Good morning! Remember me? Today is Friday the 13th, and I have work today. I don't have work Monday, but I do have work today and a doctor's appointment. So I am taking a moment before I go get my day started to relax and be with my crafts. I've got a pot of coffee brewing. I'm brewing one big pot since Dawson likes iced coffee. So I brew a big pot, have a cup of hot coffee for myself, and then we stick that in the refrigerator so that he can have his iced coffee every day, and then I can just microwave it. I am still trying to plan out what we're doing this weekend, what our plans are as far as, are we going to go out and do anything fun? Are we going to stay in and relax? But I do have some chores to catch up on. And the weather is not going to be great. It'll be nice on Monday, so maybe we'll get that hike in on Monday. But more time inside means more time crafting, and I already have a finished object. I'm so excited. It's of course the easiest one for me to have finished, but I finished the little elephant. Isn't she so cute? Her face is a little, the ear placement wasn't great. Her face is a little interesting shaped because of that, but that's okay. She's cute. So that's going to get sent along with the quilt that's finished. I'll insert a picture for you. So those will both be sent along to our friends who just had a baby, and along with that we're going to send them a note explaining all of the squares on the quilt and how it was made and all of that, so that they can, you know, looking at it you're like, oh, it's cute, but why? Why does it look like that of all things? Well, there's a reason behind it, but that is between us and the family. I am making progress on the sweater for Hannah. I'm almost ready to split for the sleeve, so I'm gonna knit on that a little this morning. And I'm also working on Pooh Bear's body. So progress is being made, things are coming along. I wanted to get a start on this since the body's gonna be the biggest part and everything else is gonna come along quickly once I just sit down and do them. Coffee's ready. Cheers. If I just keep focused, I might be able to get it done by Mom's birthday. The challenge has always been, oh, if I don't get it done in time for Mom's birthday, I can get it done in time for Mother's Day. That just extends the deadline so much that I lose focus on it. So I think so far making this video is helping me keep myself accountable for, hey, you said you wanted to do this for Mom's birthday. Let's actually put in the work that makes it get done by then. So that's coming along. Hannah's sweater's coming along. I haven't started in it on the socks again, but I haven't really had a whole lot of time, plus the sweater's priority over the socks. And since the socks are in DK weight yarn, they're gonna knit up super fast. I just need to take the time to watch some videos on how to do stripy socks well. The Crazy Sock Lady on YouTube has been putting out some tutorial videos on how she does her scrappy stripy socks. So she uses her scrap yarn or mini skeins to do her striped socks. So I may watch that, and I believe she also in that has some methods, or at least one method of how she weaves in her ends as she goes, so that I won't have to weave in all of those ends at the end like what the sock is set up for now. So progress is being made. We'll see what happens this weekend. I also got another tool in the mail that's gonna help me stay accountable for my projects, I hope. In January, or even like back in the day at the beginning of the school year, I would get all of these grand ideas about how I'm going to stay organized and keep myself accountable for the different things I'm working on and document all these things. And it usually doesn't persist throughout the year. I get worn out from it, I guess. I don't know. But we're trying again, and I've been craving a planner. So I got myself the Knitter's Planner. This is a specialized knitting planner that you get to pick what style you want for your weekly pages. Let me show you a month that I haven't touched yet. So it has your regular month layout, and it also has some goal tracking and habit tracking pages for each month. And in the beginning of the planner, they have a place where you can list your 3 main goals for the year. And then on the habit tracking page, there's a question that you can fill out that says, what goals are the habits that I'm working on this month working towards achieving, which I really like. I like it because sometimes I set goals for habits for myself, like do yoga every day, and then I won't want to do them because I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm just doing yoga every day because I said I wanted to do yoga every day, and not a big deal if I skip some days or just completely flake out on it. But now in my planner, where I have my tracking of what days I'm doing it, I have a little note to myself written that I'm doing this because I said that one of my goals for the year is to work on my health and fitness. And then of course there's the weekly pages, and I chose like the hourly layout. That helps me make sure I don't overbook myself, scheduling myself to do 2 things at once. We all know that never works out, so that helps me keep track of those things. So far, this has been a really great tool for me, and I hope that I keep up with it throughout the year. I have been watching other people's videos on their knitting goals for 2023, and I keep getting inspired by what they're doing. I've seen the Crazy Sock Ladies trying to bring back her notebook where she tracks all of her finished objects. That sounds like a great idea. And I've also seen several creators talk about their plans for making temperature blankets. And I never thought that I would want to make one before, but I believe it was TL Yarn Crafts who really made me start thinking about it again, because she decided that instead of documenting the current year, she was going to document, I believe she said it was the year she and her husband got married. So that got me thinking about what a temperature blanket can be. It's not necessarily just, oh, I make one of these every single year that shows what the weather was like. It can be something really special where you document a point in your life. And that got me thinking about how this will be our first full year living in Kentucky. We both lived in Michigan for most of our lives. Dawson lived in Canada for a while as well, but he was mostly in Michigan his whole life. This will be both of our first years living fully apart from our parents and also living a little further south. So that made me think I may over time like to do kind of a series of temperature blankets of the places we've lived, because we don't plan to stay in Kentucky for our whole lives. We may go back to Michigan, or we may go to Virginia, we may go to Florida. It's still all up in the air. It kind of depends on job opportunities and where our lives are when Dawson finishes school, which a lot of things can change between now and then. He's got 3.5 years left. It's a 4-year program, and he's one semester finished. So we've got some time to figure that out. But it would be nice to make a temperature blanket to remember this kind of monumental time in our lives. The problem with deciding to make a temperature blanket is it takes a lot of yarn, and I do not have space to buy more yarn because I have so much. What I may do though is look through the yarn in my stash and see if I have enough different colors of the same weight to make the temperature blanket out of yarn that I already have. And that would help me knit through some of my stash yarn as well. I just need to sit down and do the planning part of how big it's going to be, how I'm going to lay it out. I think what a lot of people do is document every single day, and do either the high, some people do highs, lows, and average. Some people just do average, some people just do highs for each day. I know that I am not going to keep up on a project if I set myself up to have to work on it every single day, or if I get behind, I have to do all of these rows for every single day that I missed. So instead, what I'm thinking is I will either knit or crochet one row or one granny square per week. I haven't decided yet. So instead, what I'm thinking is I will either do, I'm not sure if it will be crochet or knit yet, but I'm thinking what I might do is either one granny square per week or 3 rows per week, and have in either one of those I would want to include the high of the week, the low of the week, and the average temperature of the week. Just because I feel like everyone says this about where they live, but the temperature does fluctuate. I feel like everyone thinks the weather is crazy where they live. Temperature fluctuates. So if I'm doing per week, the average might wind up being not really representative of what that week was like. Because we might have snow one day and then 70 degrees later on in the week, and the average would just sit in the middle, and that wouldn't really represent what was going on. So I'm thinking I may like to do it that way, but I do have to do a little bit of planning. But I do have to do a little bit of planning before I can say for sure what I'm going to do or if I'm going to do it. I know there are also sources online where you can look up historical weather. So even if I don't do it right now, I could later on look up the weather and make it retroactively. I'm also considering picking a year in the past to work on later, not right now. From when we were both living in Michigan, that we could represent. I'm thinking maybe I would like to do maybe the year we both started college. And then on the border of that blanket, do our school colors since we went to the same school. And then for our Kentucky blanket, we could do on the border the school colors of the school that Dawson is currently attending. And that would help us keep track in the future of which one is which, in case we ever get confused if they end up looking kind of similar.